Hello everyone, I'm Brian and welcome back. So I kind of want to go back to this real quick. So it looks like I did this reaction on the first part. As what she said here, as I was thinking about it now, I agree with her. Even though I should have agreed with her the first time around. But I want to kind of go a little bit deeper on it. So we're going to go back over this. Hopefully there's enough time. And so far as the time of recording this, no one's made a comment about what I said. So I will catch myself first. So let's go ahead and listen to it real quick.
Tell me, prove the existence of anything in this world except as a thought in your mind.
Okay, so when I was talking about this, how she can verify it, I can verify, again, the example being the pen. You and I can all experience this pen. However, that's what we get objective reality. If only I ever experience the pen as subjective reality. Like, for example, if I say, see this pen right here? If you don't see this pen, then I see this pen. It's floating, I'm holding it. It's floating, I'm holding it. Subjective reality, because it's only me who's experiencing it. That's just one example of subjective reality, I'm pretty sure. But actually, she's right. Even if I was holding this up and I'm saying, do you see this? It's like, okay, so you can verify it, I can verify it, but the biggest thing here that I didn't think about back then was the sure fact that by you saying, this is you, just for example, yes, I see the pen, I'm hearing it, and then that signal is being transported into my brain, and then I'm experiencing it in my head, what you're saying of verification. So even by you verifying it, it is still in my head. She's right on that one. But I see both parts. Very much sure. I don't know why. I mean, I've known that, but for some odd reason it didn't click until I thought about it even more. She's absolutely right. No matter what anyone says, no matter what anything is done, it's always all experienced in our head. But in scientific terms, what you, me, and whoever else sees this is objective reality. When majority of people can see this thing, it is objective reality. See, touch, taste, feel. Touch and feel are the same thing. Smell, no, hear it. That's objective reality. So I was arguing for the other portion of it, the objective reality, whereas what she's saying is no matter what, it's the sheer fact that you're only ever experiencing it in your mind, which I agree with. I don't know why I didn't think about it back then, but I still have both point of views, but I do understand what she's saying, and I do agree with what she's saying as well. All right, let me be right back, and I'll get back to where we are at. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
So, what is it? First is what? Escape. Second is what? Justification. The third thing that we do, which is completely detrimental, is condemnation. I am a failure. I will never succeed. Everyone will be better than me. I don't know anything. Is
Pessimist.
it true or not? What happens? And the fourth is called identification. The more you identify, the more the momentum of the mind increases. You can't see the thing. If I see something too close, I am not able to see it objectively. Supposing I want to see a painting and I put it right close to my nose, I can't see it. The whole vision goes haywire. Have you understood that? But if I put it at the right distance and I see it, I can see it properly. Similarly, my own self, I am not able to see it objectively because I just see it too close. If I can put that distance and see, then what happens? I see, oh, yes, I do this. Yeah, I have not very nice thoughts. It's not good to think like that about others. Yeah.
I'm so weird. I don't know why I thought of this. When you get so close to painting, you can see great details. It's like, I see what kind of paint's being used. Oh, I see the strokes of the brush, but you don't get the bigger picture. Absolutely. I would argue, in my opinion, there is maybe necessities of both. You want to obviously see the bigger picture of things, but you also maybe want to get a really close look at it to see the techniques and the items that are used. So how the brush is being stroked and what paints and where it's blending together, so you can get greater detail, but you will miss the bigger picture. By getting the bigger picture, you're missing the details. My opinion on that, I don't know why I thought like that. That's just weird. Again, my brain is weird, but I hope that becomes useful to someone. If it does, that's fantastic. I always try to think of a lot of things. My brain does it automatically. It's not me.
Are you understanding what I'm speaking? If we see ourselves too closely, we can't. It's like even, parents seeing their own children. They don't see them objectively at all. If other people's children do the same thing, they'll say, "Hare, ये क्या बच्चा है? ऐसे करना चाहिए क्या? How badly he is brought up." ऐसे बोलेंगे ना. और खुद का बच्चा वो करता है, "स्वामी जी, इस उम्र में सब ऐसे ही करते हैं." और कहते हैं पेरेंट्स तो, "स्वामी जी, मेरा बेटा है ना, ऐसे बाहर से भले ऐसे है, पर अंदर से बड़ा अच्छा है, अंदर से." मैंने कहा, वो अंदर का कभी तो बाहर निकले. अंदर ही अंदर सब बोलते हैं, कुछ तो कुछ बाहर निकले, कुछ दिखा. ठीक है? Are you understanding?
Nope.
We're never able to see, our own very close people objectively, and our own self, because we are so close to ourselves, we're not able to see ourselves objectively.
Now, about what you're saying, do you understand? Obviously, I didn't understand what you're saying, but I think I get the idea. It's the sheer fact that when you're observing, when you're outside looking in, you can see the whole picture of of things. Kind of like you could look at a house and you're outside, you're looking through the mirror, you can see basically everything's going on in the house, but you're probably missing the audio clues and whatnot, the voices inside the house. That's what I mean by the looking outside, looking farther back, seeing the whole picture, and then when you come in great detail close, when you start hearing the voices, but you don't see the greater picture. But yes, I think what she's saying basically is that, at least in that part, was that you see your neighbor's kids as being rambunctious and whatnot. And you're like, I can't believe them. They're bad parents. But yet you don't see the sheer fact that you're doing the exact same thing.
We too closely identified. But if we don't, and we can see ourselves, yes, this is it. Without condemning, without justifying, without escaping, just see. This is like that, yes. I need to do something about it now. If I can see and accept it for what it is, half the problem is solved. There itself.
Real quick again, this is the reason why my brain is like this. Is again, I think of all possible ways of destroying arguments, my own arguments, whatever arguments are out there. It helps me realize a lot of things, including myself, and it also it's a way for me to be consistent. So if I say, "Oh, they're bad parents for letting their kids do that," but I would be aware of the fact that I'd be doing the same things, like, "Oh, I am doing that exact same thing." So basically, I can't think of an example, but just say no swimming after 8 p.m. I say, okay, no swimming after 8 p.m. I see their kids swimming after 8 p.m. I'm like, no swimming after 8 p.m. And yet I let my kids do that. That's an inconsistent view in my opinion. So no swimming after 8 p.m. must be consistent throughout my thoughts, including my own self. I don't know how to explain it. That's a terrible example, I'm sure. But I try to keep my thoughts consistent by attacking my own thoughts, by thinking of many ways to destroy my own thoughts. And that's how I get fairly consistent answers. Yes.
According to J. Krishnamurti, it's called choiceless awareness or Sakshi Bhava. Just to be able to see it for what it is. This is it. The minute you are able to see it for what it is, you are apart from it. Its hold on you is not so much. That anger or whatever it is, its hold is not so much. You've already conquered half of it. Are you understanding? Try it out. I mean, these are not something, these are all experiments. पैसा भी नहीं लगता है उसमें.
Choiceless awareness.
You don't have to give me any patent rights for giving you this method of. It's all there in our scriptures. completely available to all of us. Yeah? So therefore, I've just given you one or two things about how to take care of your mind. Please take care of your mind. Be mindful of your mind.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because my mind just goes nuts with thoughts. It's not me, I swear.
Yeah, it's a very precious thing that you have. Don't just abuse it, misuse it, or disuse it. Either of it. Use it beautifully and be happy in life. Thank you all very much.
Oh, okay.
I especially thank the Vivekananda Samiti for inviting me, and Raghu for putting all the effort and the entire team of people that they have and I really appreciate the fact that all of you have been coming each day in spite of all the udghosh and all the ghosh that has been going on around here. It's been quite a sound and noise and all of that, but in spite of all that, you all have been coming here for 3 days, some of you from the first day, second day and the third day, and especially I saw when I came in at 4 o'clock, I said, ये Sunday lunch की effect दिख रही है, कोई दिख नहीं रहा है यहाँ, but I think all of you then finally did manage to come, and I'm happy that all of you have come and heard, and it just shows, you know, when young people like that, especially places like IIT and all, when they come and show interest in this, then you feel that all is not lost. Because if you see generations of people now and things what are happening and the ways, you know, they say in 2030, which is not that far away, 25% of the population of India is going to be depressed. Can you imagine? Every 1 in 4 person.
Well, at least back in the day, we got you guys beat. Ours is like, at least now, it's like 70% of people are on. I forget what the percentage is that Americans are on drugs. It's crazy. It really is. And as she was talking about how it gives you hope that people are going through this. Honestly, it does for me too. I mean, even though it's not going on in this country necessarily, but at least it's out there in the world that people are doing this kind of things. And a lot of drug companies not gonna want this kind of philosophy in their country, because, and the sad truth of the matter is the fact that a lot of people are, again, like I said before, Americans want the quick and easy. They don't want to. Not all Americans, obviously. There are just some Americans out there who just want the quick and easy. I think most people want the quick and easy. Why spend 30 years or 10 years or 5 years of trying to fix this problem when you can do it by swallowing a pill? You know, I see the appeal to that. It's quick and easy, but it is not a true solution. And most people don't see it that way. They see it as a quick fix, and you know, anytime they need a quick fix, they just take that pill and boom, good to go for 6 hours or 2 days or however long it lasts. But the problem will always arise, and they keep needing that pill and that pill and that pill and that pill. It's never a permanent solution. It's a band-aid to the problem, whereas this is more along the lines of a permanent solution and a much healthier approach to the problem, not only in your physical body but your mental health as well.
Hope you don't want to be one of that, because we're doing nothing about it, neither in our system, in school or at home, in the colleges. Nothing is ever done. They only teach you how to learn formulas and engineering and all that. Just by learning all that, do you think you're going to be able to cope with situations of life? No one teaches us. Everyone only teaches us how to face exams. No one teaches us how to face life. And exams are life, and life are completely different. Do you agree with me?
Mm-hmm.
Completely different things.
And this is the thing, how I separate objective versus subjective. So things that you learn in school, science, math, English, whatever language, whatever science, whatever math that you take, is it's all objective for the most part. You know, 1 + 1 = 11, obviously, and you know, whatever else is out there. That's objective truth. But life is subjective to every individual. There's no one who will. There's going to be a lot of people who experience a life the same, but you don't know who these people are. You don't know if you and me experience the same life. More than likely not. We live in two different continents, or we live in two different states, or we live 1 foot apart from each other. That's still a significant difference to have a different kind of experience in life. So that's the reason why it's subjective. It's because how you experience life, how I experience life deals with a lot of factors. There's no one person that my life is exactly the same as someone else's life. That's just not going to happen. That's impossible. So even though we have a lot of similarities, there are still factors out there that are differences. Again, it's the reason why it's subjective, and subjective things are very, how do I say, there's no formula in a sense to well, I say formula, even though Sadhguru would say there's a science to it. I mean, there is, but actually, there is. It's a way to set. I guess it's the approach is going to be different for everyone. Again, like Sadhguru says, not every guru is going to be the same, nor the one for you. But the approach is going to be a little different. The path is going to be a little bit different. But everyone will. I think everyone can find a way to have their solutions in their subjective life. As I think about that, it seems less subjective, but I mean, life itself is subjective. The approach to healing or handling life, as she's saying, is kind of standard to a degree. Obviously, it all bears down to the fact if you can separate yourself from your emotions at the very least, then you will be able to handle life a lot better.
You know what is the difference between exam and life? In school, the curriculum is taught first and the tests are taken afterwards.
Yeah.
And in life, the
Tests
tests come first, the lessons are learnt afterwards.
Oh,
are you understanding
wow.
the complete difference?
I love that. That's actually really good. Dang. I like a lot of her quotes. That's actually really good. Again, about the charioteer, I kind of maybe she talked about that. Hopefully I clarified it. The charioteer, the person that's driving the chariot, is the Atman. The horses are the mind, and if you have no control over the mind, the Atman is just along for the ride. But yeah, I mean, again, the perfect example would be the sheer fact of, if you succeed in life, you basically don't learn much. In terms of, as you do something and you succeed in it, there's nothing to learn, you did it right. But if you try to do something and you fail, you tend to learn a lot more from a failure than a success, because you know what not to do and what could be done right.
And what is the portion in this for life? In the curriculum, it is this much. This is the portion. This is the curriculum. In life, anything can come anytime, in any way, from anywhere. Is it true or not? And you have to learn to face it. You can't say, hey, I never expected this. Oh, you should have told me beforehand and all. The disaster can strike you in the middle of the night. Yes or no? Don't you think we should be prepared for that? We do nothing to prepare for life. Nothing.
I'm sorry, I keep pausing so much, but she brings up so many good points. And real quick, it's the fact that I think our parents should be the one that teaches us about life. Schools, in my opinion, are not meant to teach you about life. They're meant to teach you about objective realities, where life and subjective things are meant to be taught by your parents. But right now, it seems like the parental part of life is kind of failing. Not all parents, obviously, but I feel like it's a small number of them at the moment, or a fairly large number, like 20 to 30%, and growing.
And then what happens? By trial and error, hit and miss, very often miss only, we go through life.
Learn the hard way.
Yeah. Arjuna, one of the greatest men of that time, most privileged, went to the best university of that time, the Dronacharya University. Yes or no? महाभारत का अर्जुन की बात कर रही हूँ मैं. सबसे श्रेष्ठ यूनिवर्सिटी का स्नातक था कि नहीं? the IIT of that time. He was a student of the best university, gold medalist, yes or no? You all know the story of Mahabharata, gold medalist, first class, first student, PhD in archery, yes or no? Very handsome guy. All the ladies went after him. When he went to heaven, Urvashi fell in love with him. You know that story. Everyone, he was handsome. His kaka was the prime minister of the country.
What?
Isn't it true? Privileged, home, privileged, everything. He had everything going his way. And when he had to face the most difficult challenge of his life, Visrijya Sasharam Chapam, Shoka Sambhigna Manasam, nervous होकर बैठ गया, depressed. भगवान said, what are you doing? जो सीखना था वो तो सीखा नहीं.
I'm sorry, I don't know what she's saying, but I'm gonna make a guess a little bit right here. She speaks to a lot, at least from that story, from what I'm understanding, is what I feel like a lot of, let me go ahead and just say, developed areas are experiencing, where there's people out there who have never experienced difficulties in their life, who had pretty much things go their way, and they are incapable. They're basically grown babies. They're still babies, but they're grown. Because if they don't get their way, they'll whine and complain. They don't know how to handle failure or rejection or anything like that. It's kind of, I think that's the consequence of having, if being in a developed area, whether it be a city, a state, a province, a country, or whatever it is. I think it's just because it's so luxurious, relatively speaking, to prior to that time where you had to depend on, where you had survivability, where you failed a lot, when you're still struggling. But now that a lot of people have made it into comfortable lives, that their children has been raised in this comfortable life and never told about the hardship of life, these children tend to grow up as babies in a sense. It's kind of weird. I talked about this with my friend and said, isn't that the whole point? Is for society to make life easier for people. I was thinking yes, but I was also thinking no. Yes, that we should make our lives easier for ourselves and our future generations, but we should never forget the hardships, because we should never ever feel entitled to anything. Because if you raise your child to like, oh, you can do anything, you deserve this, oh, you have an easy life, and you provide them with anything without hardships, they will break down the second they feel any kind of resistance. They grow up unable to handle tough choices or being denied or rejected. And I think that's a very dangerous thing in society, is not to teach children rejection or failure and only teach them you always get your way. I feel that's going on, well, obviously in the United States and in Western society in general, although I will say possibly maybe not in like Japan and Korea. I'm not sure. They're westernized countries, but I don't know what the latest news over there is going on, but it doesn't seem like it's as bad, and it's yet a developed nation as well. Maybe they do have some of these issues, but it's not as big. I don't know.
Are you understanding? You learned archery, you learned this, you learned so many things, but you didn't learn how to face life. He gave him that knowledge, that same Arjuna, in the beginning of the Gita, who was like that. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurtaraha. He faced life, faced the situation of life, and won it. Isn't it true? I hope I have sold the Bhagavad Gita to you. You know, they say no, advertisements can say before, after. करते हैं ना वो गंजे होते हैं तो before nothing, after वो तेल लगाओ. You have all like that. तो Arjuna before, after.
Actually, yeah.
Very, very beautiful this. Thank you very much. Hari Om and Namaskar to all of you.
Swamini, I have some questions. Yesterday you talked about happiness. So who has seen happiness or who has experienced it? Like we should we are our goal is happiness. So if there's someone who has experienced it or the internal inside happiness.
Yeah, there are great saints and sages in all times in history who have experienced this happiness, and you experience that same happiness in your deep sleep state as well. So it's not something that is completely out of your purview.
And one more thing, you talked about the manual of life is Gita. I have read, I have tried to read it, but how to really understand it?
It's difficult. I told you, no, the more technical the language, the more what we had there. So I do recommend there is a course, an online course on the Bhagavad Gita from the Chinmay Mission. Just go on the site of the Chinmay Mission, ask for Chinmay International Foundation on this, and then you have an online course which gives you a more detailed and a practical way of understanding the Bhagavad Gita. And if you still have questions regarding the same, then please, contact, some of us, and I am available on the email for questions if you have genuine questions. Okay, not for the heck of it because I keep too busy, but in case someone has really genuine questions and this, you can ask Raghu and he may be able to help you out.
It's hard to hear the questions.
सी बात तो ये है कि जीवन में है ना 3 चीज़ रखनी चाहिए. बिकॉज ही इज आस्किंग अ लिटिल सीरियस क्वेश्चन, आई एम आस्किंग गिविंग यू दिस बिकॉज ही रियली वांट्स टू प्रैक्टिकली अंडरस्टैंड. 3 चीज़ जीवन में होनी चाहिए. एक है स्वाध्याय, दूसरा है साधना और तीसरी है सेवा. स्वाध्याय, read the scriptures every day a little bit, some good thoughts, keep that thought with you in your mind. Don't do big things and बहुत बड़ी बड़ी चीज़ की बात नहीं है. छोटी चीज़ करो. बड़ी चीज़ करने की बात नहीं आती है, छोटी छोटी चीज़ ऐसे करो कि आज 8 बजे तक सुबह मैं झूठ नहीं बोलूँगा. सिर्फ 8. कितने बजे उठते हो? 7 बजे. कब तक झूठ नहीं बोलेंगे? 8 बजे तक. बड़ी चीज़ मत करो. मैं कभी झूठ नहीं बोलूँगा. दैट विल बिकम द बिगेस्ट लाई. So don't even try all this stuff. Say I will not speak untruth. Then under any circumstance, supposing then someone calls you and there's some chance of speaking a lie also, you say 8 बजे के बाद में phone करो. You understand? But that 1 hour you be uncompromising in whatever you want to follow. Do you understand? Don't take big things. You will not be able to do it. So keep small every day one small niyam. Can be very small. कि आज मैं ये नहीं करूँगा, कि आज मैं ये करूँगा. Something I don't like, I will do it, I'll finish this. Something I like, I'm not going to do this. Small things like that. साधना करो. I would advise keep 5 minutes God time. 5 minutes. And it could be anything. You do japa, you do dhyana, you do puja, you do whatever. I don't care what you do. But keep 5 minutes as God time. साधना करो. What is साधना? हमारे साधन को ठीक रखने के लिए जो करते हैं उसको साधना कहते हैं. समझे ना? Don't say you don't have time. I give this example very often. There was a woodcutter cutting a tree. He had a lot of trees to be cut. His friend said कि सुबह से तू करता है और एक ही पेड़ तो अभी तक नहीं काटा है. So show me your axe. He saw the axe was blunt. He says, Arey, why don't you spend 10 minutes and just sharpen your axe? He says, I don't have time. I have to cut so many trees. Have you understood that? If I have a very good axe, then my work becomes much easier. Are you understanding? Especially you all are students, right? This must be so beautiful and fine. इसलिए पहले ज़माने में जब गुरुकुल होती थी तो साधना was a part of your daily curriculum. You understand? That made the mind super fine. Any knowledge that came, that's why all those great, why is no Indian able to make any decent great discovery in the world today? Look at the state of our minds. What great discovery will ever come in minds which have no capacity at all? Are you understanding? And you're all students, your mind capacity must be prodigious.
I get what she's saying and absolutely agree. Like I said about the joke in one of the videos with Brian Regan again, it's about like, you know, I'll see tomorrow, you know, it's like, I'm not going to go to my eye exam and get glasses, I'll see tomorrow, it's fine, everything's blurry, everything is difficult to see, but I'll see tomorrow.
It should be like anything and everything under the sun, the greatest of ideas, the greatest of inventions. So therefore sadhana is very, very important. Will you remember that, everyone? 5 minutes. I'm not asking for much time. How much? How much? Under any circumstance? Even if you're sick? Even if it's the day of your exam? Mahatma Gandhi used to do meditation every day. So one of his assistants said, today is a very busy schedule for you, so you won't have time for meditation. He normally, I think, would meditate for half an hour. He says, yes, today is a very busy schedule, I will need to meditate for 1 hour. Are you understanding now? Normally I meditate for half an hour, but today is a very busy schedule, I will need to meditate for 1 hour, because to cope with all that's going to happen, I will need more meditation. Are you understanding? And what do?
5 minutes.
We just abuse the mind, kuch bhi karte, kuch bhi khate, kuch bhi dekhte, kuch bhi ye karte, and we want that mind to be fantastic, and we want to be brilliant students and everything. How is it going to happen? So, what? Got time? Everyone? स्वाध्याय थोड़ा अच्छा पढ़ो, अच्छे विचार लाओ अंदर माइंड में एवरी डे. देन साधना करो थोड़ी. And seva. Don't miss opportunity to help others. Do something for the sake of others. We are becoming more and more selfish by the day. Is it true or not? And you will see even from student life. Why student? When they are children, 5 साल के बच्चे आजकल इतने स्वार्थी बना देते हम लोग, है ना? You will see yourself, your whole mind becoming better and better. The love in your heart will increase. The sense of well-being, the sense of being just happy. All this will become very much a part of your life. So remember what? Swadhyay, sadhana and seva. I can talk a lot more about it, but just this much I think we'll try to do this. You know what you should abstain from. All that is rajasic and tamasic, as far as possible, abstain from that. Food, the type of food you eat actually makes the mind what it is. So eat as much sattvic food as possible, because it will help your mind. Of course, drinks and drugs, you know what it does to your mind, I don't have to tell you anything. Too much
water, nah, joking.
Much of indulgence in anything is bad. Anything which is extreme, you will see yourself. Something which is addictive, don't get addicted. That addictiveness can be to anything. So many of us are addicted to our the computers.
Oh.
We are compulsively WhatsApp and all, and such a lot of useless, nonsensical. Someone sneezes and it's on the Facebook. Who wants to know you sneezed? You can keep sneezing away. Why should I know you sneezed? But I'm in touch. What?
Sounds like in America, I don't know, people seem to keep up with the Kardashians. I mean, I kind of know them because of some things online, I think. Everyone's keeping up with Kardashians or something like that. Well, not everyone, but majority of people, I guess, are. I don't know why. I know some of them just because of certain things in culture, but again, I don't know what they do on an everyday basis, but it's really weird.
Touch. and no meaningful, and we really don't have any meaningful conversations with people, meaningful, you don't touch the heart of people.
I think that's why, right there, what you said, people don't really have meaningful lives. So what they do is they watch other people's lives and wanting that. Because they can't have it, they have to watch it. And they live vicariously, as they say, through the TV screen or through the cell phone or through whatever, to experience that life, even though they themselves are not literally experiencing it, but they're living it through the screen.
When you interact at all, it's just superficial. So when you have these deeper, then you become happy, inside you. You have some meaningful contact with people, relations with people. It makes your life so much more beautiful. So avoid all these meaningless things. It's not worth it. Time is so precious. Who knows, I may die tomorrow. And all this nonsense that I've been doing, is it worth it? It's not. So avoid all of that. You will know for yourself. सुबह से शाम ना रात को जाके बैठो कि आज मैंने 24 घंटे में क्या किया, मिनट टू मिनट अकाउंट लो, तेरे को पता चलेगा कि 6 घंटा कहाँ गया पता ही नहीं. यू कांट अकाउंट फॉर इट. That 6 घंटा was a sheer waste because you don't know what you did at that time. So avoid all those wastes. Time is precious. Life is precious. Okay?
Swamiji, you said we should not justify things. Like when someone is saying you are proud of something, you should not justify things. So how do you know you are not proud of yourself? Whether you should justify things, whether your justification is right or not, something which because we are justifying for ourselves, we don't know.
See, how do we know that we are justifying? See, as I said you, when you look at the mirror, you will see the thing as it is. Then you give a cause for it. No, because of that. Similarly, you will see your mind. You might see jealousy, let's say. Then you will say, no, aisa nahi hai, because this is that, so this is called justification. Because we can see our mind. We can see that this is a weakness of the mind. We can see all these things. हम सब देख सकते हैं, अपने ही मन है ना, यहाँ ही है, कोई दूर जगह थोड़ी है. Sometimes what helps you to see your mind, because sometimes, as I said, it's too close, so you can't see it properly. हम दूसरे में जब देखते हैं ना, तब अपने आप को देख सकते हैं कि ये जो करता है ना, मैं भी ऐसा ही करता हूँ. So it's easier to see outside than to see here. But when you see outside, don't condemn him. Find out कि हाँ, ये तो मेरे में भी ऐसा ही होता है. So don't justify that.
Well, I do agree with her in that one aspect. It's the fact that I think obviously she is right about the too close to the picture type thing. I think everyone always sees too close to the picture instead of getting that far back view. And I think also another problem with maybe perhaps, as I think about it a little bit, on the spot, obviously thinking of on the spot, is that whenever people have too close of a view, they can't even see the details that's right in front of them. And I think that's probably another problem. It's just they're just looking at a blurry image and have no idea how to look at the fine details when they're that close. But when you go back, you don't really have to look at the fine details. You just have to have it. And when you look back, you get an understanding. I think by getting close, you probably get a deeper understanding, probably, because then you can look. If you know how to look deeply into the situation, you can dissect it in a sense and understand why certain things happened. When you look further back, you can only understand. You can see the whole picture, but you can't see the fine details, probably. I'm trying to sound like an intellectual here. But I do believe in that, though. I think there's a lot of people lacking the ability to look at the whole picture, and that at the very least is necessary to see what's going on. And I think she's absolutely right, where people are just so close to the picture that they don't have an ability to see the fine details of it, so they're just lacking so much information there. I guess maybe perhaps you have to be able to look at the whole picture first and then go up closer to understand the details, because you wouldn't understand the details without knowing the whole picture. Looking at the fine details would mean nothing if you don't know what the whole picture is. That's probably the case.
Now I request Professor D.P. Mishra sir to facilitate Swamini Vimalananda ji on behalf of Vivekananda Samiti and entire IITK family.
Okay, well that's pretty much it of the video. Well, actually, there's just a little more. Sorry, I
Thank you
miscalculated.
all for coming today. We end this session here. But till now, most of you have been facing the life's exam, and Swamini said, without any preparation. But I suggest all of you please start preparing by using Swadhyay, Sadhana, and Seva. And before you leave the chamber, just remember to be mindful of your minds.
Okay, so yeah, so maybe perhaps that's the approach I was maybe trying to get at. It's the fact that you do need to look at the picture closely to understand the fine details, but without the understanding of the bigger picture, you wouldn't know what you're looking at. You're just looking at paintbrush strokes and pigments of the picture and won't know what it means or what it's trying to portray without having the greater picture of the picture, a greater picture of the picture. Yes, that sounds smart right there. Alright, so this was actually very interesting. I don't know, man, this is 8 years ago. So I don't know if she's done any more. I love her analogies and stuff. They're very good. And she does a very good job. Well, she does a very good job of explaining, but she seems to... I don't know how to describe it. Draw it out a little bit. But again, I think that's a good thing because again, this is the reason why I watch multiple gurus and swamis, is because everyone explains it differently, and sometimes some gurus you don't understand, some guru swamis you just don't understand what they're talking about, even though they explain it. Perhaps I'll understand it, perhaps you don't understand it, and then another guru swami explains the exact same thing, and I have no clue what they're talking about, and to you it sounds perfect, it makes complete sense. So this is the reason why, again, why I watch multiple swamis and gurus, is because even though they talk about the same subject, sometimes each of them fits in the puzzle in my mind. They basically each fits in the puzzle so that I can see the bigger picture, because sometimes I don't understand what one says and what one does. Alright, so anyways, that's my reaction for this. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.